Well, we have reached our final play call on the Exceed journey. And of course, we are finishing with your destiny in Christ. Why is living out your destiny so important? Because you're leaving something for future generations. Here's why living the Exceed life is so critical for you. Just a couple of ideas. First of all, every deed leaves a seed. Living your destiny involves your seeds and your deeds. Your seeds are in your deeds. I've heard people say, what you believe is what you leave. Not necessarily. The devils believe in God, but they don't follow Him. You can't just believe in something, you have to act on it. You have to deed it. So every deed leaves a seed. Second of all, I want you to understand that your choice today affects your voice tomorrow. Lou Holtz made an interesting observation. He said, when I die and people realize I will not be resurrected in 3 days, they will forget me. Well, Lou Holtz doesn't get it. People won't forget you if you make the right choices. If you make the right choices, you leave a legacy. If you make the right choices, you leave a spiritual deposit in your children and your children's children. You see, I'm a big advocate of succession planning and seeing Elijahs raising up Elishas. I believe that Elijah's choice today becomes Elisha's voice tomorrow. If Elijah pours into Elisha, he will be heard in the next generation. If Moses pours into Joshua, Joshua will lead the people into the promised land. If David pours into Solomon, Solomon will build the temple. If Jesus pours into the disciples will turn the world upside down and right side up. If we make the right choices, we have the right voices. The next generation will go further than we will ever go. Listen, I can create so many thoughts per second, per minute of the day that I will never be able to finish. But then I wasn't meant to finish them. I was just meant to begin them. If I'm making the right choices, I'll have some voices speaking to the generations to come. I may be dead and gone, but I'll still be preaching out of their mouths. I'll still be seeing visions through their eyes. I'll still be dreaming dreams through their faith. I'll still be wrecking cities through their lives. Every deed is planting a seed, and every choice is creating a voice. That's why I believe living out my destiny in Christ will go on in perpetuity. If iniquity is sin's visitation rights to my children up to 4 generations, then every deed that I seed and every choice that creates a voice will be my legacy's visitation rights for generations to come. No wonder Jesus said, upon this rock, generation after generation, I will build my church. Upon this rock, every time a Peter dies, I'll raise up another Peter. Every time a Paul dies, I'll raise up another Paul. Every time a John the Baptist dies, I'll raise up another voice crying in the wilderness. I know I've talked quite a bit about David in these play calls, but I believe David was able to defeat a giant, become a king, and write the book of Psalms because he understood his destiny. He had received a glimpse of his destiny. Listen to what was written on David's epitaph. When David had served God's purpose in his own generation, he fell asleep. Despite all of David's mistakes, he still fulfilled his destiny in Christ. Friend, here's how I want to conclude. If you had to write down your epitaph, what would you say? Actually, your epitaph should describe your destiny. In this play call, that's what I want you to do. I want you to write your epitaph or your destiny statement. And remember, the Exceed life doesn't end here. It's just getting started.